really need to get a new chair too, because this whole squeaky thing, WD-40 hasn't even, it can't even fix it at this point. I'm gonna have to take my glasses off because so my name is Sarah. For people watching this and the new people, new followers, that's probably, it's the best and like most scary part of this whole process, I'm gonna be honest, is that I've been reaching out and adding people, specific people, because I am launching some exciting stuff come January. So what I do though, like my background, I'm a professional mental health therapist and addictions counselor. I am licensed in the state of North Carolina, but I'm more recently moving towards putting my expertise into health and provider health specifically. So that means, whether that you're a healthcare provider or if you're a parent, is usually probably the most common provider that we have. And I am taking you guys on a let's take care of you journey, simultaneously while you take care of other people. Because, and partly why that's important is because that's a huge component of my life. When I made this change, as a therapist, I did not, hold on one second, I got distracted. That's often. But yeah, as a therapist, I did not get the chance or the opportunity, and I'm a single person, so I support myself, and I couldn't not work. So the attention to having to balance has been very important. It's a huge component of my program that I put together for you guys, and it still is never really comforting to see when I see myself sign in for my own life, because someone else is managing my social media now. But yeah, no, it's been a whirlwind. So for the last few months, I have been putting not all, I leave a little bit of things for myself, but I've had to do a lot of work and a lot of prep work to be able to kind of pull this thing together and be able to launch my first program. Well, technically it's the second round, but I did the first round 2 years ago. And I'm redefining it and making it focused a little bit more on that provider health, like I said, but then also I'm going to start with women. I think we're going to do we are going to do January 23rd. I'm looking for specific people, so that's why I'm not actually really announcing it. I am putting things exactly where I need them to be able to have the people that I know are dedicated and want to learn how to do what it takes to get the results that they want in their life. And it's also about really truly doing that in a sustainable way, because we can't just throw all in on even in yes, an investment in self is an all-in action, but it's also one that needs to have balance, and that needs to have some alignment with just other values that's other than success. We are not supposed to be productivity machines all the time. Take it from me, because it's a lot to stay on all the time. So today, I'm being honest, I'm exhausted. It's definitely feeling like a Friday, and I really didn't even realize it was Friday. And I can't tell if this is just dark or if the lighting is just horrible, so I hope that this camera looks a lot better than that camera. But it's also been a tough week, so what I really wanted to talk about was actually just what does support look like for yourself, and self-care. What does it need to look like on a week like maybe you had a week like mine, where I can even tell I'm stuffy because I did not get enough sleep. I've been working late, and I threw my routine off, and some of it was intentional, but some of it was because this week I had some unexpected things happen that you know, I planned and I pushed through, but it was the first week of pushing through, and that sometimes can be really exhausting. It actually reminds me, it reminds me of when I was getting started, because this week, so the couple of things were, it was raining and it was cold. I know that seems petty because it kind of is, but for me, I'm very responsive to my environment now. I'm very in tune with it, and that weather is serious, especially during this time of the year. I can't do that. During this time of the year, we have a shift in the season, and specifically the levels of vitamin D that we're exposed to from the sun, because we have less sunlight, and because it's the perfect combination. It's like just a little bit in every arena of like life, where it can kind of all come together and just kind of throw you off track. So I've started, I started taking my vitamin D supplement again. I need to actually get more sleep, but I stayed up to finish my own self-proposed deadline because I'd already extended that deadline. I did go to the gym today, but what else happened this week? So not only was it cold, it was rainy and cold. That's a tough one for me. That one wipes me out. Then I was actually pretty thrown off by finding out about Twitch's suicide. It was, so for a mental health clinician like myself, watching people respond to suicide for me, because it's not a topic I shy away from. It is a conversation that I truly think needs to be had. It's not necessarily going to be on this live right now, but I think that when we're not prepared to understand what someone else is going through, it makes it quite a bit of a challenge to receive news that they have been going through something. And supporting someone who struggles with depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, mood disorder in general, trauma, PTSD, whatever you want to label it, supporting someone that is struggling with their mental health is a slippery slope. It is. So for me this week, learning about that, because Twitch was, obviously I didn't know him, but when you're on social media, and a lot of our contact here, right, like you don't really know me, but if something were to happen to me and someone posted like, hey, Sarah's, in the hospital or something, like y'all would be like, oh, I don't really know her like that, but there'd be some people won't have a connection, and that's fine, but some people will. And Twitch, for some reason, he took me off guard, just because I think it was in timing with all the other things that really kind of had my mood pretty low. And when I say my mood was low, gosh, I really need to I was gonna wear my glasses, but when I say my mood was low, it's not like a depressed low. However, if I'm gonna be honest, I do have a history of depression, because I have been in a depressed state and an oppressed state with my previous version of myself, which is what transformation really needed to happen, because I needed to be able to prevent that from happening as much as possible again. And but I don't think I am. I'm tired, and I've got some stress, but I'm also like focused on getting something complete and done. So but I am one of those people that it's like you see an uptick in people posting about like, check on your strong friends, check on your happy friends, check on your funny friends. And I am one of those people that y'all should be checking on, just put it out there. However, I will say that I'm good, but I'm also like, I've trained myself to be okay and to take care of myself. And there's some people that are still working on that. And then there's some people that are just straight up human, and regardless of whether or not you're training yourself to be okay and cope and and to regulate all the stress that we have in this world, it's still fucking heavy. It's still heavy. Twitch, I don't know him. I don't know the man. I just know the roles that he had to play. And those roles, a lot of them were completely him being vulnerable. And there's some speculation onto some things as to what put him under that much pressure, which there's usually something that pushes a person to a point of extreme where they take things into their own hands and suicide becomes the answer for them. So it would make sense, but I'm not going to speculate. I think he had his reasons where he wasn't willing to push anymore. He wasn't willing to fight, and that's something that we all have to work towards acceptance with. It's very easy to blame right now, very easy. So when I was like trying to prep for today, I didn't really have a topic because I am tired. So that's why I'm kind of, seems rambly, but my point really is coming down to support. What does support look like for people? Because we don't really know how to support other people unless we ask them. And sometimes a lot of other people don't really know how to tell us how to support them. Like, really, right now, what do I need for support? I already ate, so that was helpful. Like, if I hadn't eaten, I would have been like, yo, who is this woman? But like, yeah, making sure that since I do struggle sometimes with my ADD, like, I sometimes will forget to eat. So like, hey, just asking them like, have you eaten anything today? But sometimes people, this is another topic of, like, what does support look like for people's businesses? Like, how do you, like, if you know your people are working hard to put a version of themselves into this business and their livelihood, how do you support them? Like, what do they expect? That has definitely been a lesson that I've had to learn the hard way, as to like, what does support look like for people at different times, in different moods, in different situations, because it's never the same. However, I will say you won't get it 100%. There's no perfection here. It's just really the one thing I do encourage you to do, though, is make sure you ask people, like, not only just are you good, but it's like, is there anything I can do to support you? Just put the question out there. It may seem uncomfortable. You may get a no. Just don't answer the no yourself. Let someone else answer that. And the holidays, yeah, they're really a hard time for some people. They may not be a hard time for you. And me too. They used to be a hard time. They used to be a hard time for me. But there's still some people who, like, this is going to be a hard time for people. So reaching out and be like, hey, is there anything I can do to help support you right now? They're going to tell you maybe something from like, no, I'm good, or yeah, you know what, I really could use a person to talk to. Or they're going to tell you like, yo, I need $10,000. You're like, that may be unrealistic. If it's unrealistic for you, you don't have to be like, yeah, that's the thing I can do. Saying and being honest with, like, you know, it's just not something I can help with, but is there something maybe more like they're smaller than that? Because something's better than nothing. Because when you're dealing with someone who has and just an internal struggle, an internal battle, we all have those. We all have those dialogues. You don't know where you don't know where not asking is going to leave you, and you don't know where asking is going to leave you, so you might as well ask. It's a lot of risks in life that we have to take, and you don't want to take one with not asking the question. So I was just ranting. Let me see. This is the downfall about, I'm gonna wait it, y'all. I'm practicing being live, but like, I need to learn people's, what's it called? Label tags, yeah. You'll see all my, Instagram can't see it, so I'm gonna have to show, but Facebook can see all my notes on the wall. So that is ADD at its finest. I needed a visual of things, and so I took it to the wall and with post-it notes. So I really, just to kind of wrap it up, because I don't have much energy today. I've been kind of experiencing the world, processing, Twitch's suicide and some other just, man, watching the news. I can't really watch the news. I definitely can't watch TV, and I don't even have TV right now, so good. But there's a lot of heavy stuff going on right now. So that's where, when I release my program in January, I'm not really gonna be advertising it much. I'm literally just talking about it on lives, because for the people who really do feel like they're ready to commit to getting themselves in a different direction from a mental health standpoint, there will be a physical health and movement component, but spiritually as well, that the programming that I'm putting together is designed to help the person and the individual figure out how they can get better on themselves, but also learn how not to do it on their own. And because mental health is not something that you can do on your own. Growth is not something that you can do on your own. There's a lot of things that you can do on your own and you have to do alone, but there's a big difference between being alone, doing things alone, and then doing things by yourself. And that's really where we have to have this kind of shift in perspective, especially when it comes to men's mental health. That was another heavy one today, or just not today, but this week. Just things that, they're drops in the cup. They get heavy, even for the people who know how to carry all of the things. And men are just historically the people who know how to carry a lot of things. And they get tired. And it's okay to get tired. It's pretty healthy to get tired. If you're not getting tired, you may need to go see a therapist in general, because there could be something wrong. Like, that's, we're not supposed to be keyed up all the time, and we're not supposed to be down all the time. That's why depression exists. That's why addiction exists. So doing that, asking the questions, I'm here to, for people to ask questions. Right now it's more of a monologue, because I understand that a lot of people may not, people need to get to know me. Sometimes don't know how to what to ask. How do you align with transformational questions? What did you do? Did a lot of things. I had to learn how to be supportive of myself, primarily. Handling things on my own, and learning to not also do it by myself. And when you're able to support yourself first, you're able to slowly take on more and support other people. And so if you're already, excuse me, if you're already supporting a lot of other people, I use my story so much because it's the only perspective that I surely can talk about and I know as a fact. I can't tell anyone else's business. So, but my story is I constantly support people. That's pretty much all I do. And so when I check back into my own life, I have to be pretty careful about where I put my energy at the end of the day. And I think today I could put my energy outside of myself. Work has taken a lot. I'm going to do a little bit of work, but I think it's finally sunny. It's not raining. The last 2 days have been rough. I have not slept well. I've just been affected by, not infected, affected, or effected. I don't know. That one's always messed me up still. But I've been affected by what's happening in the world, and then just getting rest. So I'm gonna take a nap. I don't take naps, y'all. I don't take naps. If you become my client, you'll understand why I don't take naps. But I did this week, and it was nice. And then my body's just been naturally waking up at 3:30, and I'm like, oh my god, that doesn't help. Today was again. I was up at 3:30. I fell back asleep for an hour, and then I went to the gym early. So I have to just kind of go with the flow. Sometimes it's really, I have to be structured and disciplined. And sometimes I have weeks where I just gotta do it. I just gotta figure it out. I just gotta be tired, and hydrate. Because being tired's okay. Being tired, dehydrated, and not having enough nutrients in your body gets a little weird. So, yeah, I hope you guys found some nuggets in there. Make sure you ask questions. Maybe we'll try to seek to understand what people are going through these days. And that's not like a demand or a criticism, or if you're not, because you also have to be mindful of what you need. So if you really can't put yourself out there to be a support for someone else, or just check in on them because they may take you up on it, I will say that sometimes our first instinct is not, we need to learn how to trust our gut, but holding out on other people sometimes is actually what refills our cup. That's also, I'm so service oriented, and what I do is actually replenishing. It requires energy, sustainability. So when unexpected things happen and the weather happens and all this stuff happens, it just takes more out of me. And so if you know that your levels are low, then make that call for yourself, but also know that your reaching out is actually, altruism is scientifically backed, that it actually brings you energy. So yeah, it's a balance. Balance requires a little bit of imbalance to know how to balance again, because if you're just staying in one spot, you're not balancing, you're just frozen. Like, so you gotta test it out a little bit, put yourself out there, pull it back, and flow. That's the only way. Resiliency and consistency. The only reason I'm here today is because I said I was going to be here, and I was like, oh, I don't have to be. I know I'm gonna have like only 2 people watching and whatever, but I also said I was gonna do it. And when you show up for the things that you said you're gonna do, it's supportive of yourself. So I think it's a perfect time to say that I hope y'all got the point. And I will be back next week. Hold on, let me check that, let me think. Is next week this computer update? Oh, it's the 23rd. Yeah. I thought it was like actually Christmas. Yeah, I'll be back next Friday. I don't know exactly what we're talking. Oh, yes, I do. I have an announcement to make next week, but wait, is it next Friday? I don't know. I have an announcement coming up in the next week and a half or so. I'll let y'all know the date. Maybe I haven't decided yet on what date. I think that's maybe what I have to do for work right today. So, but I will, if there is a topic, please let me know if you guys want me to speak on anything in particular. But I will see y'all next Friday.